All right, so today I actually went live streaming and I raised some questions in my live stream that I would like to bring to attention here. I wanted to ask a question. When did activism become a cult in Nigeria? At what point did activism turn out to be a cult in Nigeria? Because I'm completely lost as to what the whole essence of activism is all about. And I also asked the question, what is the difference between an activist and a politician? Why am I asking this question? Because most of us today cannot speak on issues concerning politics because of the fear. Some of us might get arrested, we are often intimidated. Some people are detained because of political conversations. But at the end of the day, influencers or activists have grown to become worse than politicians. Some people are so scared they tell you don't talk about certain person because your account might be brought down. So tell me now, what difference does the two make? Now, apart from that, let me move straight to the point, and I'm asking for legal minds in the house to answer this plainly. The question I've raised, and I keep raising it, is it right to sign an agreement on behalf of your client without first getting their consent in any form? If the answer is yes, then I'll apologize immediately and end this conversation. But now, assuming the answer is no, I beg to proceed. Is it also wrong for your client to feel slighted if something like that was done in a name without an approval? Do they not have the right to speak? Do we no longer believe in freedom of expression when a person speaking is not saying what we believe? Many people are saying Tracy is ungrateful. Maybe you have a point to say she's ungrateful. After all, she was owed 25 million and they ended up giving her over 100 million naira. But listen carefully, because this is where the public reasoning on the internet starts to collapse. Now, nobody's talking about justice. We are talking about gratitude. And I'm happy nobody mentioned justice. And that tells you everything about the generation we are. Some people are saying she should have been content. But contentment is not measured by the amounts received. It is measured by transparency, it's by openness, it's by honesty of the outcome. Sometimes not even getting money can bring contentment than getting what you don't feel was transparent enough. So if that actually matters, like take what you're given and shut up, then you should be grateful that Tinubu gives you palliative. Stay grateful because of course you'll be ungrateful if you dare question why. Now let me talk about the 25 million, 100 million naira we're talking about. 25 million back then in 2010, using the exchange rate of 140, was over $170,000. And also, someone who had 25 million naira during 2010 was a middle class. But that same value now cannot put you in a middle class. And so in terms of value, it's not exactly the same thing because someone who held that value in 2010 would have occupied a very different economic position from someone holding that at present equivalent in Naira. That's the reality again, and that's why honest conversations are needed. Now there's a claim that she has no evidence. So the question is, at what point exactly did you realize she had no evidence? And using your right conscience as an activist, answer this question. Was it right to use public sympathy to obtain money from another person and later shift the narrative, knowing that the client had no evidence? If that money was a act of goodwill, was it clearly made known from the beginning that this is an act of goodwill? Because when interviews were granted, we had conversations boldly spoken that this money was out of settlement. And goodwill is not settlement. So the same people who shouted and argued, donated attention, used their platform, stood in solidarity, deserve clarity. And so suddenly the issue has shifted from why did you get something without my consent to ingratitude. So what is justice if people are bullied into silence? How do you prove your innocence when the crowd has already decided you're guilty? So if Tracy is dragged now to prison tomorrow, does that automatically answer the underlying question? Does it erase every concern raised? Does it suddenly cleanse everybody's reputation involved? No, it doesn't. People say Marshall was doing her a favor. Maybe you can redefine the word favor. People doing favors were those who spoke without legal fees. People showing support publicly. Those were the ones extending goodwill. Because the actions many of you are defending today, the silencing, the bullying, the refusal to answer questions, the worship of personalities over principles, These are the very things that will slowly destroy activism in Nigeria. Not government action alone, not politicians, but the refusal to submit yourself as an activist to the same accountability that you demand from politicians. It is a truth at a time. Take care and have a nice day.